Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope you all are at your home safe and taking care of each other and your family members. And we never kind of thought about that we will be in this situation. However, yes, this is indeed a testing time for all of us. And I'm happy that some of you have taken time out to hear us on this day. And the number of attendees for the webinar is slowly increasing, so probably we'll just wait for another 2-3 minutes so that everyone can join us, and then we will start it formally. Yes, so I hope, because I never thought at least that I'll organize such a seminar or such a webinar during these times. But see, because we got some free time from our academic schedules, so that we thought that okay, let's talk to our young students, our young people, so that we can share our views with them. You can also learn something. So that's how we ended up organizing this webinar. And I really hope that this webinar will create some value for you, and hopefully it will help you make some important decisions, learning some important life skills. So that's how kind of we ended up organizing this. And I'm really happy that there are young people who are really, eager to utilize this time in such a way. So I must appreciate all of you for utilizing this time to attend webinars, either from me or anyone else, because yes, it helps us in learning a lot of things. So great that our number of attendees is increasing, so people are joining us slowly, and we'll just start in a minute. So I will also urge, and I mean, use this platform to kind of urge that please take all the precautions, stay at home, take care of yourselves. It's not only the physical health, mental health is also important at this time. Take care of all your loved ones, spend time with your family. And yes, as you're utilizing your time in a very efficient way, keep doing that, keep learning. Okay, fine. So we have some good number of attendees with us now. So let's start it formally now. Okay, so I'll start with a brief introduction of myself. I'm Professor Palka. I am an assistant professor at Jindal Global Business School, and I am part of the finance and accounting group. So I teach finance and accounting related courses. I have finished my doctoral degree from Indian Institute of Management. I'm a qualified cost accountant as well. And at JGBS, I'm teaching courses like financial accounting, management accounting, corporate valuations, mergers and acquisitions, and understanding, analyzing financial statements. I recently finished a course on accounting standards as well. So that's how I'm taking care of some of the courses at Jindal Global Business School, which is kind of not a standalone entity. We are part of Jindal Global University, and we have a very good and interdisciplinary kind of a environment there. So Today, we welcome to this webinar on Money Matters, a guide to personal finance for school students. Keeping in mind our audience, our students, I have tried to keep things very, very simple. So we'll not talk about anything complicated, but just simple kind of life skills that probably can help you in your life at some point in time. So I'll start with the talk now. So welcome everyone again. So I would like to start with this. Why are we here today? As you all have registered for this webinar, why are we here? Probably you have read about the webinar earlier that what we are going to talk about. See, when we talk about life skills, right? Some of us feel that kind of swimming is a life skill. Some of us feel that cycling is a life skill. Today, what we are going to emphasize upon, yes, those are all important life skills. But when in the recent times, basic financial literacy is also an important life skill. Now, when I say financial literacy, here, what we mean by financial literacy is how do we manage our money, right? Some of us already have something, some of us plan to, or we just strive to achieve some financial goals. We all understand that money is important nowadays. It's all the more important nowadays. So what I'm emphasizing today on is the basic financial literacy as a life skill. And it's such a life skill like any other life skill. We all should learn it early in our lives so that we can have a happy, healthy, and secure living, right? We all aim for, our parents also wish that we all have a happy, a healthy, and a secure life. So, life security is equally important, right? And yes, we cannot deny the fact that some part of it comes from money, right? Now, money management skills.
विजय साहब नमस्कार।
Uh,
मैं ठीक हूँ। मैं ना एक वेबिनार अटेंड कर रहा हूँ। मैं आपको 1 घंटे में बात
just,
करता हूँ।
just one technical glitch. Fine, fine. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. And I must not forget to tell you that probably there are many questions which might be coming into your mind when I'm talking. What we can do is probably you all can keep noting down your questions or your concerns or whatever you would like to discuss with me. And probably once we end this talk, we can have a separate question and answer session, right? So probably you can just keep jotting down your concerns, your questions, or anything, any curiosity that is coming to your mind while listening to me. Fine. So why we are here is that is what we were talking about. So we were saying that even our parents wish that we have a happy, healthy, and secure living. Now, money management skills which are learned early in life can really make a difference how we sail through different life events. And when I say life events, it means many things. So, how do you grow? How do you become younger? How do you live your life? What lifestyle do you follow? How you age? How you grow old? So all these are life events which might be impacted by how intelligently you have managed your money, right? So today, through this webinar, we really aim at imparting you some fundamental life skills, very, very simple, very, very fundamental, nothing complicated, of budgeting, savings, how do you use credit or how do we use loan effectively, and then how do you invest your effort, your time, your parents' money, or your own money for that matter. If some of you might be planning to do your post graduation, might be working already, and you are planning to give some break to your jobs or your businesses and want to go and learn something new or do your postgraduate studies, right? So this is what we are here for today. Now, as you can see, as we have grown up in our lives, the money management has changed its phases, right? So, how money management has transitioned in our lives. So, probably when we were small, we started with a small piggy bank. And nowadays, I see these kind of piggy banks as well, right? Wherein which are full automated piggy banks that we have. You can put in some passcode and all those things you can very well do. Then there's a point wherein your parents decide to go for a kids saving account to save some money, to put some money, to teach you some kind of a financial independence, to teach you some kind of a value of money. And then we move on to, at some point in time, you can move on to these add-on cards that probably your primary holder could be someone else, and you can have an add-on card and you can learn to use debits and credit cards. Then there will be a stage in life then when you'll have your own debit cards, your own credit cards, you'll have good bank balances, right? Now, through all these stages, money management is a skill which is really going to help us move forward, right? So this is how the things have transitioned in our everyone's life. It's me, it's you, it's anybody, right? So that's how it has transitioned. And probably once we go beyond the personal finances, and some of you might like to learn or might have interest in business finances, you will probably go 4 or 5 steps ahead and learn about the how businesses manage their finances, right? But yes, the individual finances are equally important. Now I'll just show you this small comic strip, which is, again, we all know it's a very famous kind of a comic strip, right? So here we see Calvin and Hobbes. You all must be already familiar with this. So here, very smartly, Calvin asks, what do you think is the secret to happiness? Is it money? Is it power? Or is it fame? He says, I would choose money. If you have enough money, you can buy power and fame. That way you have it, and you have it all, and you really be happy. And happiness is what? Kelvin thinks that happiness is being famous for your financial ability to indulge in every kind of excess. And then Hobbes comes in and he says, I hope that's one's own way to define it. So, see, this small comic strip very nicely presents the idea that how happiness can be one's own, it depends upon one's own definition, right? It can be money for somebody, it can be power for somebody, it can be fame for somebody, right? So it's your own way how you define it. So you people at this young age can also try to give it a thought that what makes you happy, what is the secret to your happiness, right? So might be for some of you it might be fame, for some of you again it might be power, and some of you can be it for some of you it can be money, and for some of you, yes, it's all about money because you can buy power and fame with the money, right? So please give it a thought that what is your really your secret to happiness. Fine. Now, again, there's another one wherein we talk about Kelvin, your mother and I have decided to give you an allowance. Yes. Now, you all people, probably those who are transitioning to their college, you all must be very familiar with this word allowance, because when I say money management, allowance that you get from your parents is the only money that you have, and that is what you need to manage, right? Because we have not started earning as yet, but yes, soon we'll start earning, and then we'll have many other things to manage as well. Now, why Kelvin's father is giving allowance to him? He says it's important that one learns the value of money. Right. So now Kelvin is all happy. I'm rich. I'm rich. And right, his father goes off saying, I blew it all again. Right. So these are two small comic strips which really tells us about the importance of allowance, importance of happiness. How do we define happiness? Is it power? Is it money? Is it fame? So now from this comic strip wherein we talk about allowances and how the allowances teaches you the value of money, I come to the another part of it. Now, these personal allowances are something which are important at this stage in your life, right? So how you manage your allowances is something which is very, very important, right? Because these are the first type of your first introduction to money in your life, right? Your pocket money or your allowance, whatever you call it. This is your first introduction. And how do you manage your personal allowances is something which is important. Now, here I would like to give you a secret to managing your allowances or your pocket money. So we all should have three buckets. One is for spend, one is for save, and another one is for giving away. So we all should understand this or realize this early in our lives that all these three components are important. Spending, yes, it is important because we have a certain lifestyle to maintain, we have certain needs, certain requirements that we need to fulfill, right? And then it is equally important to save, and then it is equally important to give as well, because we might be the lucky ones who have all the resources, and probably we should be ready to help people who are not that lucky, and we should be ready to always give away a small portion of whatever we have. So spend, save, give is a kind of a mantra here to manage your allowances, or even, and now this mantra is not only for your personal allowances or your pocket money. You can use this mantra at any point in time in your life. I use it even today, right? So even if you talk to some of the big shots like Ambani's and all those, they also have the same basic fundamental mantra. You keep something for your spending, you keep something for you save something for the rainy day, and then you give away a small portion as well to help the people who are not as lucky as we are. Now, how do we manage our allowances? There are many factors that can influence our decision, right? Now, we can talk about some of these factors as such. So we have some values. So values, when I say values here, it means what is important to you. Is a luxurious lifestyle more important, or what do we eat more important? There can be anything, and there is nothing wrong about in indulging in any of these things, right? So this is one factor amongst many factors. So our values are going to decide that how do we do the allocation of our allowance, or how do we decide to use our money. Then sometimes peers are also a factor. Now peers can put some positive as well as negative pressures of how do we behave, how do we spend our money, right? Probably some of your friends who have got some car, so you want to buy that car, or you see somebody in the party to wearing some kind of a dress, so probably you want that dress, right? So you can also have some of your friends who are investing on their education, or they are deciding on how do they learn things to become better. So all those things can also affect how do you spend your money, how do you manage your money. Then there are some habits as well, which also are important when you are making all these decisions, right? So if you are accustomed to doing things in a certain way, using some certain brands, using some certain things in life, right? So all those habits do play an important role. Then talking about feelings, sometimes you are in a good mood to spend, sometimes we are not in that good a mood to spend. So those feelings also matter when we actually take those decisions. And of course, our value system is something which affects our decision making to a great extent. How our parents' preferences, how our family's preferences of spending money is, right? So what other decisions your parents have made, or your relatives or your close friends have made, right? And then there are age is something which is again a factor which helps us or which affects our financial decision making, which either you are in your school or you are in your college or you have finished a certain level of education and now you're going for higher studies. So all those factors come into picture when you really make those financial decisions, right? So it is important. And remember this mantra in your life: spend, save, give. Right? Great. Now, with this, we'll move on to the another skill. So whenever we talk about personal finance, be it your allowance or your pocket money, or be it whatever salary you get, or be it whatever you earn from your business, right? So probably budgeting is a skill that we all should learn early in our lives, right? And allowance or your pocket money is the first step to understand a return spend plan or the budget. So budget is nothing but a plan that how are you going to spend your money, right? So now adults with some effective budgeting skills can create healthier family relations. They can contribute to building a stronger economy. So yes, if you have good budgeting skills, it can really help you create a very healthy relationships, that you can achieve many things in your life, be it financial, be it non-financial. And yes, you can contribute towards building a stronger economy, because as a citizen, all of us need to contribute in the building of our economy as well, right? So it is important. Now, when I say budgeting as a skill, how do we go about doing this, or doing this budgeting exercise? Now, the very first step here is assessing the personal and your financial situation. Now, when I say personal or financial situation, it can mean something like needs versus wants, right? So we need to keep in mind that needs versus wants, whether I need it or I want it, right? So again, a very common, very simple trick that can help us understand whether our spends are really needed or it's just a matter of a want, because wants are unlimited, right? So we need to understand that. So if you are going ahead thinking of buying a luxurious car or any kind of a basic car or whatever you want, right? So probably needs versus wants is something that can help us understand that. Your family situation, your lifestyle, your life cycle stage is also important. So if you're in school, probably your needs and wants will be different. If you're in college, your needs and wants will be different. If you are somebody who is pursuing higher studies or planning to pursue higher studies, probably your needs and wants will be again very different. So that's the first step. Then creating a budget with all the expected inflows and outflows. So we just need to sit and think about that. Okay, what is our expected inflows? What is the expected? What are the expected outflows? Right? So where do you expect the money will come from, and where do you expect the money will go? Right? And then we need to monitor these inflows and outflows. Right? So it's not just keep a plan in mind. Okay, if you have 10,000 rupees as your allowance, so where do you plan to spend those 10,000 rupees? And then keep monitoring that plan, because any plan which is not monitored, obviously there's a human psychology behind it. We tend to move away from our plans, right? And it's not only with the young people, it's with the old people, everybody. That's the human psychology, that we all tend to move away from our plans. So monitoring becomes very important at this point. So keep monitoring whether you have your inflows, where you are spending, where you are saving, right? And then compare and review your budget periodically. So keep reviewing it, keep comparing it. And when we say reviewing, budgeting, now when I say budgeting for young people or the students, a simple a daily spent diary or a weekly spent diary or a monthly spent diary can really help you. So you can easily have a spend diary. It can be in the form of notes in your phones or Excel sheet in your laptop, whatever you are comfortable with, or a simple pen and paper, right? There's nothing complicated about it. So do keep a tab on your spends, right? So just keep in mind where the money is coming from and how it is going and how it is spent. Now, the next skill that I would really like to emphasize upon is the saving skill. Now, saving skill is something which is magical, right? A little things can really add up to make big things. And that is what the saving skill is all about. So supposedly you make an investment of 50,000 in a fixed deposit at 10% interest rate for 10 years. Now, just a simple, very simple calculation here, very simple interest calculation, not even a very difficult one. So for 10 years, you keep on doing that and you'll have some kind of money at the end which can be utilized for even buying into some indulgences or for investing it further or spending it on learning something new or anything that you want, right? So here we should not feel that what a big difference a small amount is going to make. Even the little things can really add up to many big things when we do it consistently, frequently, over a long period of time. So when we said that the fundamental mantra is spend, save and give, so saving is something which is really going to add up. Small things are going to add up to make really big things. So here you can have some amount of money. You can whatever you can spend upon buying movie tickets, party with friends, or you save 5,000 every month. That's a decision that we need to make, right? Similarly, if you want to save some 1,000 rupees for the week, or you can choose to have some pizzas and macaronis or something of some kind of an indulgence you can get into, right? Now, what can you give up to save for your financial goals? That is the question. So what your financial goal is, that is the question. And what you are ready to give up to achieve that financial goal is something that each one of us has to decide, because no one understand it better than us, that what is really we aim for in our lives 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years down the line. But yes, we have to plan it today. So planning is always going to help us. Now, next thing which is very amazing and which really amuses us, which really attracts us towards everything, is the power of credit. So I'm sure all of the people, all of the young generation is using the power of credit, right? So credit is something which is very important. Now, the credit has its own advantages and its own disadvantages, right? Now, when I say advantages, so I'm talking about the advantages first, keeping in mind that yes, credit is something in the recent time that we really cannot, even if we don't like it, it is an important part of our lives, right? So we are able to buy needed items now when we do not have the money as such. For some people, it is not about not having money or having money. It's more about that you need not carry cash. So many a times we all prefer to carry credit cards with us. It's more convenient than writing checks, right, which used to be the case earlier. For some people, they use credit cards for consolidate, because it consolidates the bill into one payment. So again, they say it helps us in keeping a tab on all our spends, right? So there are many reasons why people prefer to use credit cards. However, there are some negatives as well. We might need to pay higher interest rates. It may require some additional fees. There may be financial difficulty if we are not able to pay every month, or we end up spending something which is very high, right? And there is we all should agree that there's an increased impulse buying that occurs when we have the credit with us, right? Because yes, we all have been, we all fell prey to this many a times, that yes, we do some kind of an impulse buying when we have our credit cards with us, right? So credit has power, but yes, this is something which is very, very important. Some of us, have seen our parents, taking using credit for businesses. For businesses, credit is very, very important. For some of you might decide to, take loans and then use it for your education or for anything, right? We can use credit for. Now, whenever we say credit, now there are 3 C's that we should keep in our mind whenever we are using the credit, and whenever the financial institutions like banks decide to give us credit, they also keep these 3 things in mind, which is 3 C's. One is the capacity, another one is the character, and another one is the capital, right? Now, capacity is that you should have the money to return that credit, right? So you have to pay back the money, so you should have that money to pay back. And then character, you should have intention to pay back as well. Capital, in the sense that if supposedly that your regular inflow of money is not happening now, so how do you plan to pay back your credit? So is it you have some physical assets with you to pay back? So all those things we should keep in mind, because as the financial institutions and even banks are going to keep that in mind when they give us loans or when they provide us credit, right? That's why they talk about some collateral. So whether you have some land or some anything else, right, that is capital, so that if you do not have your regular income, whether you have the ability to repay the loan or not. Now, what are our responsibilities? So we should borrow only what we can repay, right? We need to pay debts promptly, and yes, it will help you building your credit history. So always remember to have a good credit history, because this is going to help you in getting the credit later on in your lives whenever you need it, right? So credit is something which is important, right? Comes with its own plus and minuses. Please keep in mind all your pluses and minuses before using credit as the source of finances. Now, moving on to the very, very interesting and probably the most relatable part of the story. Now we have learned to spend, we have learned to save, we have kind of got some sense that yes, we have to give away. We talked about budgeting, we talked about spending skills, saving skills, budgeting skills, right? Now, finally, we have something called as investments as well. So we need to think about investing as well. And the stage at which our young students are right now in their lives, probably education is one place where you can invest, right? And this is your life, it's your decision, and researching your college options is something that is important in your life right now, right? Because right now our young learners are there for who they are not going to invest on a house or a car or something, but right now at this age, investing in education is something which is the most important part, right? And here I'll just tell you in brief some things. You have some opportunity cost to do everything, right? Now, what do we mean by opportunity cost here? It refers to what a person gives up when what a person gives up when a decision is made, right? So this cost is also called as a trade-off, right? So there's also a trade-off there, right? And which can involve many resources, time, money, and effort. So you decided to do this webinar today, right? This has some opportunity cost. So you people might have have other options of watching a movie or spending time with your family or playing some sports, right? But you decided to do this. So there is a cost associated with doing this webinar, because you have kind of, there was a trade-off. You have two things to do and you chose to attend this webinar while not doing the other thing. So there's an opportunity cost associated with this, right? There are personal opportunity costs and there are financial opportunity costs, right? So when we say personal, it may involve time, your health, your energy, right? So if some of you kind of decide to leave your jobs or leave the businesses that you are managing with your parents and decide to go for studies, there is a personal opportunity cost involved, and there's a financial opportunity cost involved as well. So if somebody is already earning something with the help of by helping somebody with the business or by doing a job, and now you decide to leave that job or that business and then do move on to receive the education or your higher education. So you have, again, there was a trade-off and you have foregone that money that you were earning to receive an education now. Now here we have a very, very important concept, is time value of money. Now this can be used to measure the financial opportunity cost using the interest calculation. Now, time value of money means that the money also, loses value with time. So if I ask you people a very, very simple question, whether you would like to receive 100 rupees today or a year later, probably, or we all will prefer to get that money today rather than 1 year later, simply because of the reason that it will lose value in the 1 year's time. So if probably with 100 rupees I can buy 1 kg apples today, probably because of inflation, because of the rising prices, I might not be able to buy 1 kg apples with those 100 rupees 1 year later. So money has a time value, right? So that's why, because whenever you make these decisions of your college, where do you want to get your education from, investing in your education, you all should really, really carefully consider all the costs, opportunity cost, personal opportunity cost, financial cost, time value of money, right? And these opportunities will come in many forms, right? For example, if supposedly some of you feel that you are interested in, getting business education. However, while you are getting the business education, some of you might, have an interest created in some other thing. Maybe law, maybe something related to journalism, maybe something related to governance, something related to policies, right? Because our human minds are, and young minds especially, are very, very inquisitive, right? So probably you decide to do your business education tomorrow. However, while doing your business education, you might get interested in some law course, right? Or a law subject, or something related to mergers, or something related to journalism, or something related to arts, architecture, right? So now this opportunity is also something that we all should consider, right? So whether the college you are choosing will give you that kind of an opportunity to even serve your interests, which are changing with times, because there is nothing wrong with a changed interest. This is human nature, right? We all can have different kind of interest. Even at 40 or 50, somebody might like to study astrology, right? I might having some interest in that kind of a learning, right? So now when we talk about education, you people, there are some many important factors that you people can think of, right? You can, the very first question comes to our mind is domestic versus foreign, right? So we all must have given a thought to it, right? So whether we should get our education here in India or we should move to some foreign university for getting the education. So please keep all those things in mind, that what will be the returns that you are going to get, what are the opportunities which will be available in that college, right? Opportunity can come in many forms, as I explained you. I can give you an example of our institution right now. When I talk about Jindal Global Business School, so yes, it is one school which is part of the whole Jindal Global University, and we give the opportunity to the students to learn and to understand and to enhance all their curiosities which are developed at any point in time in their life when they are studying at Jindal Global University. So if you are doing your MBA or your BBA, you are studying a subject called mergers and acquisitions. And some of you have friends who are studying law in the university. So you interact with them. Probably now you want to understand the legal part of mergers and acquisition. You'll have that opportunity to do that at Jindal Global University, because you can study electives across courses, across schools. So this is an opportunity that is something important and that you can really factor in while taking the right decision, right? So we are, all the schools that we have are not the standalone entities, they are all part of the university culture. And yes, university culture helps people in boosting their knowledge. And yes, we have a lot of interdisciplinary kind of courses, schools, and you all can utilize that opportunity to satisfy all your curiosities that are going to arise when you are learning things here. So that's what is about the, and yes, this is, you people should not feel that you are not young enough to take your decisions. And yes, all your decisions will be affected by your family, your parents, your relatives, your friends. But yes, even the young people have made it big in their lives. So I have few examples here to motivate some of my young audiences. So we have a person called as Shubham Banerjee. At 13, he decided to make braille printers, right? So braille language printers, which used to be very costly, and he developed a low cost version of this, and now he is the youngest entrepreneur. Similarly, we had another example, and these are very simple people, these are not that famous people, but yes, these are somebody who have made big very early in life. So you all are capable of taking your decisions with the help of your parents, with the guidance from your parents, and decide what is best for you. Similarly, we have Zandra here. Now, Zandra started a beauty company, beauty products company. And how did she start? She started making lip balms at homes when his father said that no, he's not going to buy her a lip balm, right? So she made it on her own with all the organic products which are available to her at home. And now she has a beauty company which sells many products, have some sense, she has a huge product line, and all this she did at the age of 17. So yes, you people are young, but yes, you are capable of taking all the responsible decisions. Learn to manage your finances well in your life, whether now or 5 years or 10 years down the line, and do well in your life, right? That is what I and your parents and everybody around you wish for, right? Now with this, I would stop here and will give you an opportunity to really ask questions, and whatever you want to hear from us, please feel free to ask any of your concerns, talk about anything that you want. So your questions are now most welcome. Okay, fine. So uh, here we have Ranveer Singh. I have serious interest in investment banking, but can I opt for it through liberal arts in Jindal? Yes, you can do that. Yes, of course, you will be able to do that. And see, you need to decide that what is your main interest. So your main interest is liberal arts or your main interest is investment banking, right? So if you have liberal arts as your main interest, I would suggest you to go for liberal arts, and then yes, whatever courses are there in Jindal Global University, be it investment banking or anything else of your interest, you can go ahead and study about those courses. You can enroll in those courses as well, right? So my answer would be yes, you can. And if supposedly your main interest is investment banking, I would suggest you to go with your main interest and then search for something which is kind of your secondary interest in your liberal arts. So please decide whether your primary interest is liberal arts or investment banking, and accordingly take a decision. Okay, fine. Then I have a question from Ishan, which says, according to you, how big of a role does credit play in a businessman's life? Huge, 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 Ishan. Uh, See, businesses cannot run without credit lines, right? So this is how it happens. When we talk about working capital, right? So when we talk about business finances, credit have even a bigger role to play, right? So the businesses have credit lines available with the banks, right, wherein they can finance their working capital. They can have a debt component of their capital structure, right? So when I say capital structure of a business, you have equity, you have debt, right? So debt is something which again plays an important role and comes with again their own pluses and minuses in a business, right? So that is how it happens, Ishan. It is really, really important because we have our capital structure, we have our loans which are going to, and again, when I talk about businesses credit, we have many types of credits which are available for the businesses, right? You have long-term loans, you have short-term loans, you have money market instruments, you have overnight loans available for the businesses. So yes, that's how it happens in a business context. Okay, so Tanish says, please, ma'am, please explain character again. Okay, so when we talk about the importance of credit, I spoke about three C's, right? And one of them was capacity, uh, one of them was capacity, one of them was character, right? So now character here means your intention to repay, right? Because see, you people, Tanish, you have seen lots of NPAs happening in the banks, right? Lots of loans going bad in the banks, right? So people are not returning money. So some of them are kind of not having money, and some of them don't have intention to pay money. So that's why that's where your credit history defines your character. So if you pay your credit card bills on time, so it will help you build a credit history, and in short, a character which is going to help you improve your credit history and have a credit which is available to you, right? So that's how it goes. Just a sec. So probably that helps understand the credit part, or that helps us understand the character here, Tanish, right? Now, so Ishan says, please shed some light on how credit would play a role in the life of a young entrepreneur. Okay, Ishan, you must have heard about the venture capitalists, right? First round of financing, second round of financing, how daily in economic times we get news regarding, okay, this company. So recently there was a news that Nika, you must have heard about that company, right? So Nika has got another round of funding from a venture capitalist. So for a startup, it is even more important, right? So it is very, very important. And the venture capital is something, or that initial seed capital, we also use the term seed capital there. That seed capital is something which is really going to help the businesses get that initial set of capital, which is important, right? So for the small businesses, it is again important, right? Because not everyone, entrepreneur will not have all the money to invest in the businesses. So he has to get money from outside through the investments. Okay, now moving on to the Aryan's question. Ma'am, why we don't add invest in 3 stages where we say spend, save, and give? Okay, Aryan, when I say save, save includes the investments as well, because saving is something that if I save some money, obviously I would like that money to grow. So when I gave you an example of saving, I spoke about that how a 5% interest can really help us get some money after 10 years in our lives, right? So that is nothing but investment only. So when you save, you'll invest it somewhere, right? So that's how the connection is. So saving is something wherein the investment automatically comes into picture, because when I save money, I would like that money to grow, right? So if I say FD also, it is also kind of an investment you are making, and you are getting a small return of 5% there. Fine. So that's what my answer to Aryan's question is. Okay, is it good for investing in stock exchange in college life? Anuranjan's question. Stock exchange, rather I would say stock, right? So stock exchange is an entity. We can't invest in stock exchange, Anuranjan, but yes, you can invest in stocks, but rather I would suggest you to understand the stock markets first. So if you have your parents or some elderly person already doing investments in the stock market, I would suggest you to first, go through how they are doing it, learn from them, and then probably you can move on to the real investments for yourself. But yes, you can obviously learn and satisfy your curiosities and learn in the process. You have many online investing websites, right, wherein you can have a virtual environment where you can learn investing, trading, and all those things. So probably you can try your hands first there, and then probably you can go ahead and start investing in your college life. And I have seen many colleges when I was studying at Indian Institute of Management. There was a there was a mutual fund group that students have formed, and they have collected some thousand rupees from everybody, and they were investing that money into mutual funds, and they returned the money with good amount of returns as well at the end. So that is what you can do in your college life as well. Have your Convince people to give you money, and then save that money, and then manage that money well and give good returns to people, and people will be ready to give you money, right? So that is what you can do in your college, Anuranjan. Okay, Tanish, 3C's character part. Tanish, I have already explained you character, right? So probably I have answered this question. Great. So now I am moving on to the next question, ma'am. What is the point of investing in fixed deposit at the rate of 5%, considering the inflation? Isn't it better to invest in stocks or real estate? Yes, Ashutosh, that was a little example. That was a little example, because that interest rate depends upon many things. Interest rate depends upon how much you are investing, for how much time you are investing, right? So that was no way to say that yes, fixed deposit is a way of investing. Yes, one can choose to invest in stocks, on real estate, depending upon what all opportunities you have at that particular point in time, right? So that's how it is. Now next question is from Abhijit. Can a student from marketing background join a financial corporation, and does that person will have any scope for growth? Yes, you can do that. I would suggest yes, you can do that, because many of the people, you have financial products as well, and doing marketing of the financial products and designing of the financial products is again an important part of marketing. And yes, you will have lots of growth opportunities there. So I don't see a problem there, Abhijit. You can, of course, you can have marketing. If marketing is your interest, do go ahead and join that. And yes, if you want to join a financial corporation, probably you should have an inclination towards the financial products and how do you market financial products. Great, Abhijit. And then Achyut says, ma'am, which is better option for seed funding for a startup, angel investor or a venture capital? Okay, for seed funding of a startup, see, angel investor and venture capital are two different things, yes, but both of them comes with their own effort and costs. Right now, if you are able to get an angel investor, it's good, because at a very early stage, if your idea, convincing the venture capitalists to fund your businesses is sometimes very difficult. So if you have first initial round of angel investors available for you, who really believe in your business and your idea, probably you can go for a venture capital at the second stage of funding. So what I would suggest is, and see, this is not this is my personal opinion, Achyut, right? There can be things going otherwise also, depending upon what is the business idea and how it goes, right? So your probably the first step could be a startup or an angel investor, and then the second one could be the venture capital funding, because once you have reached some level, when you have something to show to the venture capital, it would be easier for you to convince them to give you money. Fine. Now Nitya says, since Flip is not taking retail or single students, I'm sorry, Nitya, probably if you can tell me your question in a little detailed manner, I can come back to your question, Nitya. I'm sorry, I didn't understand it completely. Fine. Now, next is Vatsal. Vatsal says, how important do you believe a recession in economy for a new startup? Which startups do you believe to thrive in such times? Vatsal, it's a very contextual question, Vatsal. Recessions are something which is, I don't know whether it is important or not, but this is something inevitable, right? So economic cycles are something which are inevitable, right? And with startup, I believe thrives in such times is something which comes with a good idea, right? So if the idea behind a startup is something which is very convincing, satisfying the needs of the consumer, that consumer can be anybody. So probably even if it takes a hit for a month or for 2 months or for 3 months during the economic downturn, it is expected to bounce back once the things improve, right? So that's how it is. Then Ashutosh again have a question, ma'am. Also considering the coronavirus, the economy is also in haywire. Yes, I agree with that. What do you think should be the good place to invest in such a case of a pandemic? Again, Ashutosh, it depends upon many factors. So when I talk about investments and when I actually teach, financial planning for the individual or where do you invest, there are n number of factors that we take into consideration, Ashutosh. It depends upon your risk-taking factor. If supposedly you are an investor who is a risk-averse investor, right? So probably you would like to invest in, if you, Ashutosh, if you have heard about it, last month we had something called as sovereign gold bonds that have come, right? So probably that is something which is a more less riskier way of investing. However, if there's an investor who is a risk loving investor, right, who is ready to take risks, right, probably we have stock markets. There are some of the stocks which are trading at their lowest, and some of the analysts are really giving us reports that which are the stocks which have already hit their lows. So you can really go ahead and do that. So where to invest? forget about the pandemic times or corona times. It depends upon n number of factors, your individual risk taking capabilities, what options are available at that particular point in time, right? How much money do you want to invest, right? So a small money, you really can't go and buy 100 kgs of gold with the small money, or you cannot buy a huge amount of stocks with that small money. If you have a huge money, probably the things will be different for you. And if there's a small amount of money, something sort of a systematic investment plans can help us. So it depends upon many things, Ashutosh. I just gave you example a few of the factors. Fine, Tanish, thank you so much. Then Aryan comes back. Thank you for your time and webinar. My Q&A is related to BBA versus BBA plus MBA. Okay, fine. Probably Aryan's question has already been answered. Nitya says, any suggestion for certification for banking and finance before joining MBA at JGU? I would not like to suggest, but yes, there are many kind of certifications available, Nitya. Many organizations. But if you are already planning to join MBA, I would suggest you to first see what is at offer in your MBA course. So before MBA, I would not suggest you as such to join something or invest some time and finances on doing a certification before MBA. Probably you will learn all those things in your MBA as well. Then there will be kind of investing your time and effort twice there. So I would suggest you to just go through what the MBA curriculum is. And if the curriculum does not, answer all those things that you want to learn as part of certification, then you can think of joining. Okay, fine, Nitya, thank you. Then we have Karthik. Ma'am, we have seen that many startups have been started in recession like WhatsApp and many others. So can we say that recession is a good chance to establish a good business? Yes, if the idea is something which has come, see, idea can come out of any context. So if you have a context wherein wherein some new idea can really come out, yes, of course, probably you can have an opportunity in the recession as well. I still remember how Ola has utilized some years back when we had flood in Chennai, and I logged into my Ola account one day and I saw that they were also showing some Ola boats, right? So although there was flood, which is not a very, which was not a very good thing to happen, and it's a adverse situation to be in, and Ola has very nicely utilized that opportunity to have something called as Ola boats, right? So yes, the opportunity and the idea can come from anywhere, be it a pandemic situation, be it a recession situation, be it any kind of an adverse or not so adverse situation. So it's all that your mind should keep on working on getting the good ideas. That's what my answer to Karthik's question is. Fine, Nitya. Thank you so much, Nitya. Thank you so much. Okay, and then I would also like to add on to one thing, that we have already uploaded some of the handouts and the brochures in the handout section. So if you people need any kind of an information for our courses, you can download those brochures from there and get all the information. And you also have my email ID on the, just a sec here. So my email ID is there, right? And you can write to me for any kind of your concerns, queries, whenever you want to get in touch with me. So please feel free to do that, right? So with this, I would again like to thank you all for taking time out, learning new things, right? And please stay safe, stay healthy, stay at home, take care of yourself and your family members. Thanks a lot.